Eagles fans, this is the kind of news that can shake an entire season. Just days before the clash with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Philadelphia got hit with a brutal loss, a few surprising roster moves, and a flicker of hope all at once. This is breaking news, and it changes everything about Sunday's game. The Philadelphia Eagles just made a wave of roster moves that feel like both a blessing and a curse. On one hand, the team added key depth at positions they desperately needed. But on the other hand, they lost one of their most important young defenders at the worst possible time. Let's break it down. The Eagles signed safety Marcus Epps, tight end Cam Latu, and cornerback Perry Nickerson to the active roster. Meanwhile, they placed cornerback Jacorian Bennett, wide receiver Darius Cooper, and edge rusher Nolan Smith on injured reserve. That means all three are out for at least 4 games. The biggest headline? Nolan Smith. This is the one that stings. Philadelphia had huge plans for him this season. Drafted in the first round alongside Jalen Carter, Smith was supposed to step into a starring role. And he had been doing just that. After a rookie season with just 1 sack, Smith exploded in year 2 with 6.5 sacks and then became an absolute nightmare in the playoffs. He led the entire NFL in postseason sacks with 4 during the Eagles' Super Bowl run. That's not just promise, that's proven production. But now, he's out. And this isn't just losing a pass rusher. Nolan Smith is also one of the best edge-setting defenders in the league, a guy who can shut down outside runs and play violent, physical football every snap. Losing him isn't just about sacks, it's about losing toughness, leadership, and reliability on the edge. This loss hurts even more when you consider how the Eagles rebuilt their defensive line this offseason. Milton Williams left for New England. Josh Sweat signed with Arizona. Brandon Graham is in the twilight of his career. Philadelphia was counting on Smith and Jalen Carter to step up and carry the new wave of this defense. Now, half of that plan is on hold. And here's the part that makes fans uneasy: Nolan Smith's injury history. Even back at Georgia, this was a concern. Now he's dealing with a triceps issue, the same one he had surgery on. According to reports, it isn't season-ending. The Eagles expect him back around their Week 9 bye, but some insiders believe it could be even longer. That's a lot of weight on the shoulders of this defense. And while Philadelphia still has star power, the loss of Nolan Smith is the kind of hit that can test a team's depth and resilience. I want to hear from you. How big of a loss do you think Nolan Smith is for this defense? Are the Eagles strong enough to survive without him until the bye? Drop your confidence level in the comments, scale of 1 to 10. Let's see where this fan base stands right now. The Eagles might be catching a break, but they're also holding their breath right now. Injuries are piling up, and this matchup against Tampa Bay is shaping into one of the most unpredictable battles of Week 4. Let's start with the latest from the practice field. Zach Bond showed up with a giant brace strapped to his knee. He's practicing, but clearly not close to 100%. Rookie linebacker Jair Campbell? Nowhere to be seen in drills. And Lane Johnson, the rock of this offensive line, was spotted back on the field after that scary neck stinger against the Rams. But let's be honest, he wasn't moving like himself. He looked limited, cautious, not the usual dominant force that shuts down defensive ends week after week. That's not all. Across the field, the Buccaneers got a brutal blow of their own. Their superstar wide receiver Mike Evans has been ruled out. A hamstring injury shut him down late against the Jets, and it couldn't come at a worse time. Evans isn't just Baker Mayfield's top target, he is Tampa Bay's passing game. Chris Godwin is still trying to recover from that devastating ankle injury. Without Evans, Mayfield loses his big 6 feet 5 inches safety blanket, the guy who wins those 50-50 balls, who bullies smaller corners in the red zone, and who has quietly put together one of the greatest careers ever at wide receiver. Think about this: Evans is entering his 12th season, and in every single one of his first 11 years, he went over 1,000 receiving yards. That's not just good, that's historic. Six-time Pro Bowler, two-time All-Pro, one of the most consistent deep threats the league has ever seen. He doesn't just rack up yards, he racks up touchdowns, double-digit scoring seasons, year after year. Defenses know what's coming, and they still can't stop it. But here's the catch, the Eagles' secondary is banged up too. With Jaquan Bennett already on IR and Adoree Jackson questionable, Philadelphia might have to throw Kelee Ringo into the fire at corner. A rookie against Baker Mayfield and the Bucs. That's a scary test, no matter how injured Tampa Bay looks. So now, both teams are limping into this clash. The Bucs lose their superstar wideout, but the Eagles are losing corners left and right. One side's weakness cancels out the other, and that makes this game even more dangerous, even more unpredictable. This is no ordinary Week 4 matchup. This feels like a playoff preview in September, and it's going to come down to which team survives the injuries and still finds a way to dominate. Eagles fans, how worried are you about these injuries? From 1 to 10, rate your confidence in this defense holding up against Baker Mayfield and Tampa Bay. The Eagles' secondary is starting to look shaky, and it couldn't come at a worse time. Reports out of Philly hinted earlier this week that both Adoree Jackson and Jaquan Bennett were battling injuries serious enough to keep them sidelined against the Bucs. And now, the doubts are getting louder. Adoree has been dealing with a groin issue, and let's be real, even when healthy, he's been under fire. 3 games into the season, the numbers don't lie. A Pro Football Focus grade of just 42.7. That's bottom of the barrel. 145th out of 158 corners. His coverage grade? Even worse, a 41.3. He's giving up a passer rating of 93 when targeted, missed 3 open field tackles, and those mistakes have been costly. Yes, he's made a couple pass breakups, but the bad has far outweighed the good. Fans see it, film shows it, the stats confirm it. This has been rough. Then there's Bennett. A young player still finding his way, thrown into the fire against the Rams last week after Adoree left the game. Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford noticed immediately, they went right at him. One play, a near penalty on Puka Nacua, had Rams fans screaming for a flag. Bennett grabbed, yes, but the ball was uncatchable, and the refs let it slide. Still, it showed how vulnerable he is right now, with only 21 coverage snaps under his belt all season. But here's the twist, that same game gave us one of the most unforgettable plays in Eagles history, and Bennett was right in the middle of it. Late in the game, the Rams lined up for a field goal. The ball was blocked, chaos everywhere. As the holder tried to scoop it up, Bennett came flying in like a missile, knocking him to the ground. That one hit cleared the way for Jordan Davis, all 330-plus pounds of him, to scoop up the ball and rumble nearly 19 miles per hour down the field for a touchdown. Think about that. A man that size, moving faster than some running backs, smashing history in front of our eyes. Lincoln Financial Field erupted. Fans were losing their minds. The sideline went insane. It wasn't just a win, it was a miracle, a story that will be told for years. And it doesn't happen without Bennett sacrificing his body on that play. Maybe that's where his injury came from. If so, it's the definition of team football, giving everything for the moment that changes a season. But now, the Eagles are left with a tough question. If both Adoree Jackson and Jaquan Bennett can't go, who steps up at corner? The answer might be rookie Kelee Ringo, and that's a dangerous gamble heading into a showdown with Tampa Bay. Eagles fans, do you trust Kelee Ringo to hold his own if he gets the start? Or do you see this secondary as a ticking time bomb? Drop your thoughts below, I want to hear how confident you are right now. All eyes are now shifting to the Eagles' cornerback room, and Vic Fangio just dropped a hint that tells us exactly where things might be headed. If Adoree Jackson can't go, it's going to be Kelee Ringo's time. The rookie's moment is finally here, and Philly fans know what that means: pressure, spotlight, and zero room for mistakes. Now, Ringo's not the only option. Rookie Mekhi McWilliams, the fourth-round pick out of UCF, started training camp in the slot before moving outside, and Fangio has praised his versatility. Then there's veteran Perry Nickerson, the ultimate journeyman, 7 or 8 teams in 7 or 8 seasons. He's been everywhere, but to his credit, he was one of the top corners in Eagles camp and earned his way back onto the roster. He can play inside or outside, and his experience might give him the edge if Fangio needs stability. But make no mistake, this is Ringo's shot. Fangio even admitted he told the young corner back at the end of camp, "Your time is coming. Be ready. That time might be now." Sure, Ringo looked shaky in his preseason debut against the Bengals. Yes, he was facing Jamar Chase, but that's the reality of the NFL. You don't get warm-ups. You line up against stars, and you either rise or you get exposed. Here's the thing though, Ringo's raw talent is real. He's over 200 pounds, he runs in the 4.3s, and when he got limited snaps last year, he held up well. In fact, his Pro Football Focus grades were respectable, mid-60s, solid coverage numbers, and not the disaster some expected. The tools are there, but the stage he's walking into now is enormous. And then there's Eli Ricks. Added back to the practice squad, Ricks is another name fans need to watch. If the Eagles are truly thin at corner, don't be shocked if he gets elevated on game day. He's long, wiry, and flashed big play ability back in 2023 with that memorable preseason pick-6 against Baltimore. Yes, he has his flaws, missed tackles, some inconsistency, but he's a fighter, and Fangio might need every option available. This all boils down to one simple question: if Adoree Jackson is out, who steps up? Can a rookie like Ringo handle the heat? Can McWilliams or Ricks play above their experience level? Or will it be a patchwork secondary trying to survive? Either way, this Eagles defense is about to get tested in a way that could define their season. And the scary part? Their past against Tampa Bay hasn't been kind, but the one constant that's haunted Philly in those losses might not even be on the field this time. That could change everything. Eagles fans, if it comes down to Kelee Ringo starting on Sunday, do you believe he's ready for the moment? Or do you think Tampa Bay will exploit him? Drop your confidence level in the comments, 1 through 10, and let's see where this fanbase stands. This isn't just another game on the Eagles' schedule, this is about history, revenge, and proving something that's been haunting Philadelphia for years. Eagles vs. Buccaneers has become one of those matchups that fans circle the second the schedule drops, because every time these two teams meet, it feels personal. And let's be real, the history isn't kind to Philly. Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts are just 1-4 against Tampa Bay, and some of those losses weren't just defeats, they were beatdowns. Go back to last season, the Eagles walked into Tampa and got smacked 33-16. Before that? A humiliating 32-9 playoff loss to the Bucs that ended their 2023 season in the wild card round. These weren't just losses, they were statements. Tampa has had Philadelphia's number. Even if you rewind to Sirianni's first year, when the Eagles were still rebuilding, the Bucs crushed them twice. First in the regular season, 28-22, and then again in the playoffs, 31-15, with Tom Brady shutting the door on their Cinderella story. The bottom line? Since 2015, the Eagles are just 1-6 against Tampa Bay, and that's a stat no Philly fan wants to hear. Now here we are again. The odds makers might list Philadelphia as slight road favorites, but let's not pretend this will be easy. The Florida heat is real. The Eagles have dropped 3 of their last 4 in Tampa, and every time they travel south, the humidity, the heat, and the energy of Raymond James Stadium have worked against them. So this isn't just about winning a game, this is about rewriting the script. Can Jalen Hurts finally turn the page on Tampa? Can Nick Sirianni prove he can coach his way through the Buccaneers' curse? Or will the Bucs once again send Philly home with more questions than answers? Eagles fans, I need to hear from you. Do you believe Philly finally breaks the curse against Tampa this time? Or do the Bucs still have their number? Drop your confidence level in the comments right now, 1 to 10, how much faith do you have in the Birds? The stage in Tampa won't just test football skills, it's going to test survival. Kickoff is set for 1 p.m., and the heat is going to be brutal. We're not talking about a normal September afternoon, the Real feel is expected to hit 103 degrees. That's like playing 4 quarters inside an oven, with the sun burning down on every snap. Vic Fangio put it best, there's no magic pill for this. You don't just step into the heat for a day and call yourself ready. It's a mindset. It's about grit, toughness, and refusing to let the other team drag you through long, draining drives. Because that's how the heat really beats you, play after play, when your body starts to feel heavy and your lungs can't catch up. To make matters worse, the Bucs will be wearing white jerseys to stay cooler. The Eagles? They'll be stuck in their green uniforms under that blazing Florida sun. Every single second of that game, the conditions will be against them. But here's where it gets interesting. For all the struggles Hurts and Sirianni have had against Tampa, there's one thing missing from those ugly losses: A.J. Brown. In the one game A.J. suited up, he torched the Buccaneers with 9 catches, 131 yards, and helped Philly cruise to a 25-11 win. When he's on the field, this offense is different. And unlike last year's disaster in Week 4, when the Eagles were missing Lane Johnson, A.J. Brown, and Devonta Smith, this time, the Birds are fully loaded. Think about that. Last season, Philly's top receivers were Jahan Dotson, Paris Campbell, and John Ross. That's not the same team walking into Tampa this Sunday. This offense is healthy, dangerous, and hungry for revenge. And here's the kicker, the Buccaneers, even at 3-0, haven't looked dominant. Every win has come down to the wire. Baker Mayfield has had to pull out late-game heroics just to escape with one-score victories. Philly isn't built like that. The Eagles don't play 45 minutes of football, they play all 60. They don't collapse late, they suffocate you like a boa constrictor, slowly draining the fight out of their opponent quarter after quarter. So the keys are simple: the defense has to hold strong against long Tampa drives, and the offense has to flip the script by wearing down the Bucs' defense instead. If Philly can strike first and take control early, the heat won't matter, because the Eagles know how to squeeze the life out of a game once they get on top.